I've always been a night owl. There's something about the stillness of the late hours that feels almost sacred. No traffic, no noise, just the hum of the streetlights and the occasional flicker of a passing car. That's why I took the job as a night shift security guard at the old Greenwood Mall. It's been closed for renovations for months, so my job was mostly just to sit in the security office, watch the cameras, and make sure no one tried to break in. Easy money, or so I thought. The mall itself is a relic from the 80s. All faded neon signs and cracked tile floors. Even during the day, it has this eerie, abandoned feel to it. But at night, it's like stepping into another world. The shadows stretch longer, the air feels heavier, and every sound echoes like it's coming from somewhere far away. I didn't mind it at first. I've never been the superstitious type. But that all changed about a month ago. It started with the cameras. I was doing my usual rounds, flipping through the feeds, when I noticed something strange on the second floor. One of the cameras near the old food court was glitching. The screen would flicker, and for a split second, I thought I saw someone standing there. Just a figure barely visible in the dim light. I chalked it up to a faulty camera and made a note to call maintenance in the morning. But then it happened again the next night, and the night after that. Every time it was the same camera, the same flicker, and the same shadowy figure. I started to feel uneasy, like I was being watched. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was just my imagination. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. One night, I decided to investigate. I grabbed my flashlight and headed up to the second floor. The mall was pitch black, and my footsteps echoed loudly as I made my way to the food court. The air felt colder up there, almost icy. I shined my flashlight around, but there was nothing out of the ordinary, just empty tables and chairs, covered in dust. I was about to head back to the office when I heard it. A faint whisper, barely audible over the sound of my own breathing. It was coming from the direction of the old arcade. My heart started racing as I slowly walked toward it, my flashlight trembling in my hand. The whisper grew louder, more distinct, but I couldn't make out the words. It sounded like someone was trying to tell me something, but their voice was muffled, like they were speaking through water. When I reached the arcade, I shined my flashlight inside. The machines were all dark, their screens blank and lifeless. But in the far corner, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There was a figure standing there, just like the one I'd seen on the camera. It was tall and thin, with long, spindly limbs that seemed to stretch unnaturally. Its face was hidden in shadow, but I could feel its eyes on me, piercing through the darkness. I froze, unable to move or speak. The figure didn't move either, just stood there, staring at me. And then, in a voice that sounded like it was coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, it spoke. "You shouldn't be here." I don't remember running back to the office, but I must have, because the next thing I knew, I was sitting at my desk, drenched in sweat and shaking like a leaf. I told myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me, that the stress of the job was getting to me. But deep down, I knew better. The next night, I tried to act like nothing had happened. I kept my eyes glued to the cameras, avoiding the one that kept glitching. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. And then, around 3 a.m., the power went out. The security office was plunged into darkness, and the monitors went dead. I fumbled for my flashlight, my heart pounding in my chest. As I shined it around the room, I noticed something strange. The door to the office was slightly ajar, even though I was sure I'd locked it. I grabbed my radio and called for backup, but all I got was static. I was alone. I don't know how long I sat there, too scared to move, but eventually, I heard it, the sound of footsteps coming down the hallway. They were slow and deliberate, like whoever or whatever was out there was taking their time. I held my breath, hoping they'd pass by, but the footsteps stopped right outside the door. The handle started to turn. I don't know what came over me, but I lunged for the door and slammed it shut, locking it with trembling hands. The footsteps retreated, and I let out a shaky breath, thinking it was over. But then I heard it again, the whisper, louder this time, right outside the door. "You shouldn't be here." I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. When the sun finally came up, I bolted out of there and never went back. I quit the job the next day, no explanation, no notice. But here's the thing, I can't stop thinking about it. About that figure, that voice. And sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and the shadows are long, I swear I can still hear it.
You shouldn't be here.